Hello and welcome to English 120 Online, Fall Semester 2015. This video is going to walk you through how to log into our online course and how to move around it a little bit, and I'm also going to talk about the syllabus. There are a few ways you can navigate to our online system. You can use the A to Z link here and go to online education. You can also scroll down the home page, and usually there's a link on the front that says online education at NVC. If you click on it, it takes you to an information page, and this page is really helpful, so I suggest that you look at it. It has some basics for online education at Napa Valley College, our basic principles to why we offer this type of learning environment. As you scroll down, you can see on the left here, there's some video tutorials showing you how to log in, which I'm going to show you as well. Also showing you how to upload, how to post to discussions, how to email, and things that you might find useful. So consider watching these videos. As you continue to scroll down, there's information on how to get started in your online class, and this link is particularly important because it talks about logging in, and for some of you, if this is your first time using Blackboard, that can be a little bit tricky. So if you click on this, it talks about your username and password. Your username is created for you. It involves using the first two letters of your first name and then the first two letters of your last name, followed by the last four digits of your student ID. So here's an example here, JOSM1343. Your username is going to look something like this. And then for the first time that you log in, your initial password is student in all caps. Once you log in, you have to change your password or you won't be able to log in again. And this page talks about how you do that. You click on My Places at the top, personal information, and change password. So don't forget to do that because that usually gives people some trouble. And again, there's more information here. So use these resources because they will help you be successful in navigating online. Most successful students, they really figure out how to use Blackboard well in the beginning so that that's not interfering with your ability to do your work. Once you're ready, you can see this link at the top that says log into Blackboard. And then from now on, you can just go directly to this page every time you want to log in. So I always suggest that students bookmark this page. As you scroll down, you'll see the place where you can enter in your username, your password, and then click Login. Once you log in, you're going to be taken to a page that looks similar to this. It looks a little differently for you than it does for me because I'm an instructor. You may see some other materials here in your course list on the right or on the left. But you'll want to look for your list of courses. You may only have one or two or maybe just one depending on how long you've been at Napa Valley College. Your course, our course English 120 is section 64299 for fall 2015. So you want to click on it and it will take you to our home page. This home page is not a very useful page. It's mostly just your avenue in to the course, and you can see our course title and this little picture as the sort of flag for you that you're in the right space, and so I want you to think of it that way. It does have some areas for announcements and assignments and tasks, but this page isn't the most functional, and so I tend to not use it. I tend to provide you personal reminders instead, so that way I know that they're getting to you and that they're correct. So you'll just be taken to this page as your entry point, and then you'll want to usually immediately go to this link that says current week, and you're always going to see under current week what we're doing at the moment. And since our course hasn't started yet, we're not doing much right now. I'm just going to move this over here so you can see a little bit better what I have here. I just have the list of required materials for you because I know many of you are probably doing that right now, trying to get your books. Our course starts August 17th, and then you're going to see a lot more show up. You're going to start to see activities and specific readings and videos to watch for our course. So again, current week is always what we're working on in the moment. So your list of books is here. You have a thin reader textbook of sorts called Exploring Culture. It's essentially a mixture of articles that I put together. Rather than post them individually in the course and make you print them out, I package them for you. It's cheaper this way, and you know, you're not using your printer ink and all of that. So you'll want to pick up Exploring Culture. There's a ISBN number here. However, you can only find this in our bookstore on campus. So you'll have to go to Napa Valley College's bookstore to pick up this book for our class. And I will post a few readings in the initial 2 weeks of the course to help you, because I know that you usually have a lot going on in the first week trying to get everything together, but you'll want to pick up this book sometime in the first week. And then we're reading 2 full-length books. One is called The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde by Junot Diaz, and that's also available in our bookstore, but you can find it on Amazon. I do suggest that if you're going to do that you want to order that immediately. You want to purchase that before the first week of school. So if you're watching this lecture and school hasn't started yet, then you have time to order it through Amazon. Otherwise, just go to the bookstore and pick it up, because we're going to start reading it very soon in the course, and you don't want to not have it. It will be on reserve in the library, and you can go to the library and read it until your book arrives, but you're really only going to save yourself a couple bucks to order it online anyways. And so if it's getting close to when you're going to need this book and you can see it on the schedule, just go to any bookstore and pick it up so that you don't have that additional hurdle. And then we're going to be reading The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot, also available in our bookstore, also available on Amazon. You don't need this one right away, but you don't want to forget about it, so make sure that you pick it up soon. And then there is another textbook related to research called The Bedford Researcher. This is somewhat optional in terms of the book portion of this and purchasing that. So you can go to the bookstore and you can buy this, and it's a package. It's a book plus access to research activities that go along with the book. So you can go to the bookstore and you can pick that up, and you've got both of the things that you need. You can also not buy the book and just buy the access to Launchpad Solo, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit later, because we're not actually going to start our research until a few weeks into the course. And so if you don't want to buy the hard copy of the book and you just want to read the pages online and do the activities online, that's fine. You can do that, and I'll show you how to purchase that. This book, this researcher, is called it's a reference book. It's a citation reference. It's a research reference book, and a lot of courses actually ask you to have one, and they usually sort of leave it to you to pick whichever one you want. So it's not a bad idea to pick up this book, because in your next English class or your history class or your sociology class or your psychology class, when you need a reference book, you've already got it. So that's part of why we kind of give you the option of buying the book part or not. But this part, the Launchpad Solo part, is not optional. But again, I'm going to talk to you after we get started in the course about how to just buy that piece. Otherwise, I think it's an access code that comes with your book. And then, of course, you want to make sure you have reliable internet access on a daily basis throughout the semester, and that really is a requirement. The other thing I have posted for right now, because again our course hasn't started yet, is the syllabus so that you can look it over. I know many of you kind of want to get a sense of your classes before they start, and so that's why I've posted the syllabus here. You don't have to look it over. You can wait until class starts, but I know some of you want to get a jump start. So I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I want to talk about the other things that are here for you in terms of links on the left-hand side. So again, this is the home access entry point that we already looked at, and you always want to go to current week first to make sure you know what we're currently doing and you're aware of all your current deadlines so you don't miss any of them. At the end of each week, I'm going to archive materials under previous weeks, and so that's what this link is here. There is, of course, not anything in it right now, but you're going to see every week that we've passed a little folder for it listed, and so you can always go back and review a lecture or find a handout that you lost or maybe you didn't print out. So that is what's next. You're going to participate in a discussion forum each week, and so those are listed here for you. You'll also see a link to our current discussion forum under current week each week too, but you can always kind of go back and look at the previous ones by clicking here on this link. And right now I have just a Q&A forum that will be here all semester long for you to utilize. This is really a forum for you to use with each other. I will check it too, although I prefer that if you have a issue with Blackboard or something technical that you if you want a response from me, that you just email me, because I have that synced to my phone and I'll see that a little sooner. But this is a Q&A forum for answers to general or troubleshooting questions about the online class. So if something doesn't seem to be working, you can post your issue here, and then anybody can help answer that question for you or help resolve that issue for you. So not just me, but anybody in the course. So if you see that there's a post, feel free to check it and maybe you can help somebody out. So post a question, check to see if an answer has been posted or someone resolved your issue, help answer someone else's question. So this is a space where you can help each other. That's the basic idea. So that will always be here at the top for you to utilize should you need it. But of course, you can always email me too, and I can help resolve issues. But sometimes it's something really easy, and maybe I'm teaching, and so I'm not getting back to you fast enough, and someone else can help you out a little bit quicker. So that's why that's here. You will be doing journals on most weeks of the course. When you don't have an essay, you'll have a short journal post. So this link will have those listed for you. They'll also show up under current week too, whatever the current one is, but you'll be able to go back and see every journal that you've done here. And then I have here this link to the syllabus and the schedule. So you can always reprint your syllabus out, and you can always check the schedule at any point in the semester. So notice it says tentative schedule, and that means that it's subject to minor changes. I might push an essay deadline back or shift a reading around, but I'll always do that well in advance of the week that when we're going to work on it. But you can get a snapshot essentially of the semester here. So let's just take a quick look. The first week, your workload's a little bit lighter, so I want you to think about that, because I tend to give students time to adjust to kind of figuring out where things are in the course space, and so I do keep your reading a little bit lighter, and then you can see that it picks up a little bit more as we go along. But you can see everything that you're going to be reading, and also when your essay due dates are, when those deadlines are. Those are posted in the course as well. So you can see that for the whole week. Again, you will have journals and discussion forums and other things that you're doing, but these are the readings and the major assignment deadlines, the essay assignment deadlines are here for you, so you can manage your time. The next link here is provides a little bit of information about me. I'm Christine Palella. I'm your teacher for English 120, and I joined the English department at Napa in 2010. I also taught in the English, the university, and the philosophy departments at Sonoma State before coming on Napa full-time, and I also taught at Santa Rosa Junior College for 2 years. My teaching and research background includes hybrid and blended learning approaches, which of course fits into this course. service and community-based learning and writing across the curriculum. So I do approach this class as trying to give you readings that span disciplines. So it's not all English literature here, right? We're doing you know, things that relate to history and philosophy and psychology and sociology and science, and so I really try to mix it up, because a lot of you, of course, are you know, you're in a wide range of majors, or maybe your major you're not decided on yet, and so this class is meant to give you some reading strategies for whatever major you're going to go into, and some writing strategies for whatever major. So that's the writing across the curriculum piece. I earned my master's degree and my bachelor's from Sonoma State, and while there I was emphasizing gender theory, cultural theory, and digital learning, and those are actually themes in this course. We start off looking at gender issues and you know, posing gender questions and talking about different experiences related to gender. Also the effects and the issues related to being bicultural, and also we'll look at some digital learning questions and issues in this class too. So that's my background, and that is, you know, somewhat integrated into this course. And then before I was a teacher, I was a reporter for the Press-Democrat in Santa Rosa. So that's a little bit of background on me. On the left, this is also where you'll be able to access your grades. You don't have any yet, but when you do, you'll be able to see them. As you get points for things, you'll be able to track and see how you're doing in the course. Sometimes I hide your overall grade when in particular at the beginning of the course, when you haven't turned in an essay yet, your grade can look really skewed. So I don't even, I think, show you your overall grade percentage until you turn in your first essay, because then you'll get an accurate picture. And I don't want students to obsess about grades, because it's very normal for your grade to go up and then dip a little bit and then go back up. And so, you know, sometimes I'll adjust the grade book so that you're, you know, I don't really want you worrying about it too much when you want to be thinking about what you're learning and you know, your current assignment. So, but you you know, you can access your grades and keep track of that yourself here on the left. There's some links to student services, to the library, to the Writing Center, to the Student Success Center here, so you can, you know, access those services easily. And there's the link to that online ed homepage that I showed you before we logged in, and then also a link to Launchpad Help. So when we start working in the research part of the course, you know, if you need some help, you can go to their resources too. Again, we're not going to really start our research activities until about week 4 in the course, and so you'll see a link for that show up here when we start doing that. But since we're not doing that, I want you to sort of get used to the other objectives that we're working on in the course first, and then we'll shift into that. So you'll see a link for Launchpad here too in the actual activities that we're going to do. There's a link for Blackboard help and general help here. And that pretty much covers your links in the course on the left. So again, current week, in my opinion, is the most important link, because that's always where our materials that we're currently working on are going to be located, and where your reminders about deadlines and things like that are going to be located. And then just really quick, a couple of things about the syllabus. I do want you to read the syllabus. In fact, during the first week, when our course actually starts, I'm going to ask you to read the syllabus and take a little syllabus quiz, just making sure you understand important aspects of the syllabus. This is essentially setting up the expectations in the course, and the more you know what's expected, the better you will succeed in a class. This also talks about policies and our goals, and so you have a sense of what we're doing in this class. So it's important that you read this over. But just a little bit of general info here. I'm going to open it up and make it look bigger. My office is located in the 1000 building on campus, so that's right behind the 800 building in between the 1000 building and where the track is. That's where a lot of faculty offices are. So that building, and then I'm in 1031C. So if you go into the building, take a left and you'll see me. My email is here. You can email me at any time. If I'm not teaching or driving or sleeping, I'll generally respond to you pretty quickly. My office hours are on Mondays between 10:30 and 2:30 p.m., but also by appointment. So I prefer to have my office hours all together. I feel like that's a little bit more successful for me to have, you know, a day where I offer office hours and I'm really available to students and not distracted. But I am also available by appointment if that doesn't work for you. So just send me an email and say, you know, I need to see you at a different time, and you know, we'll be able to find a time that works. Our class starts on the 17th, and the last day when everything you know, will have needed to be turned in is December 19th. And of course, we meet online, and you're in English 120 because you either passed English 90 or you demonstrated your appropriate skill level through the English assessment process. There's a course description here, so read it over. It talks about what the focus of this class is and our learning outcomes and course goals, what it is that we'll be doing, and by the end of the semester, what you'll have mastered, essentially, is what this means. So if you read this over, you don't really understand it, that's okay. You will by the end of the semester. That's the basic idea. And then the required materials, which we already talked about, are listed here. There are some additional materials that will be in Blackboard. There's, I think, one reading that I'm going to post to Blackboard, and there'll be some handouts. So you may want to install a PDF reader on your computer if you haven't yet, and there's a link here for that. You may want to use an annotation service such as Diigo, and so there's a link for that. And you may want to download OpenOffice on your computer. If you can't open and save documents in Microsoft Word, this will help you do that, and so you might want to download that. Mostly I don't have difficulty opening documents except if it's a WPS file and sometimes with pages, and so my preference is you save things before you submit to Blackboard as Word documents or as PDF documents so that we don't have an essays. The grade breakdown, your essays are worth 60% of your grades. Your essays are super important. So essays 1 through 4, and then you also have a 5th one, which is your final exam essay, which is taken on campus. So the English department requires that all online courses offer one assignment on campus. It's the way that we check to make sure you are a real human being, you are who you say you are. So you'll come to campus and you'll go to the testing and tutoring center and you'll show them your ID and you'll write your final essay for this class on campus, and that's worth 10%. You have reading quizzes and journals on most weeks, and collectively they're worth 15%. And you have discussion forums on most weeks and some peer activities, and those are collectively worth 15% as well. And then, of course, you want to make sure you attend our class. This is an 18-week-long course taught entirely through Blackboard. All interactions with your instructor, myself, and your peers take place in the online learning system and through email. So you attend this course by logging in each week and completing the required assignments. So you must attend. You must attend in the first week of the course, or you will be dropped. So you must log in the first week. And of course you want to keep logging in weekly and submitting assignments to post attendance, essentially. The online version of this class must exactly match the requirements of the face-to-face class. And so with a typical face-to-face 4-unit class, that requires approximately 12 hours of work per week. The only difference between an online class is instead of 4 of those hours being in person on campus face-to-face, the whole thing is online. That's really the only difference. And so you want to make sure you have that amount of time, 12 hours each week, to complete your weekly assignments in the course. And of course, it's a good idea to break that up, right? You don't want to do all of your work in 12 hours. You want to do a couple hours one day and a couple more hours the next day, or 3 hours covering 4 days. But you want to think about how to break that up. And there's just some general suggestions here to think about. When taking an online course, sometimes it's extra challenging because of self-motivation and self-discipline. So read this over because it talks about those things. And then if you fail to turn in any work for a week, if you don't log in, you may be temporarily locked out so that you contact me and we talk about how to arrange to get you back on track. If you fall too far behind in the course, if you don't submit anything for 2 weeks, you may be withdrawn from the class and a W will appear on your transcript. So you don't want that to happen. So you want to stay on top of your assignments and you want to log in regularly. So you'll log into Blackboard each week and complete your assignments, and this section talks about, again, that syllabus and schedule page we looked at. You can find your reading homework listed there and other things. You want to log in 3 to 4 times per week, read all instructions, and manage your time. So read this section over. It talks about strategies for time management. You'll find your assignments on that current week's page, and weeks begin Mondays and end Sundays. I always archive the week under previous weeks afterwards. And generally, you'll see, you'll start with an overview of instructions for each week. So I always offer an overview video at the start of each week that shows you kind of what you're going to do for the week and what's ahead. Most assignments will be due on Wednesdays and Sundays, and that's at the end of the day at midnight. So think about that and figure out how that's going to work within your schedule. Just because it's due on Wednesday doesn't mean you can't turn it in on Tuesday, but those are when the due dates are going to be. So again, read the syllabus over fully and in depth. I'm just kind of highlighting some things here for you. You're going to be assigned at least 5 formal writing assignments, so 5 essays, and they're going to vary in length from 1,000 words to 1,500 words. And for most essays, you will be required to do 2 drafts, and you'll want to meet the deadlines for those drafts. So a failure to complete both drafts of an essay will likely result in a failing grade. Each draft is graded, so if you don't turn in one draft, then you're going to lose a bunch of points, and it will probably mean that you don't end up with a passing grade on that assignment. So you want to turn in both drafts. And you don't want to get a 0 on an essay, because essays are worth so much, right? 60%. That if you get a 0 on an essay, it will probably end up with you not passing the class. So there's a little warning here about that. You do have 1 late pass, and it's the last page of your syllabus that you can use during the semester. It allows you to submit 1 graded essay draft up to 1 week late for full credit. So, save that for emergencies. That's really what it's for. Essays submitted late, they're often graded late, and they receive minimum feedback, but this is kind of your one free pass should you have an emergency situation where you can still get full credit on your work. No other late work is accepted. You will participate in a discussion forum each week, so this section talks about strategies for successfully participating in that discussion forum. So read this over. And there's a reminder here about our student behavior policy, just because, I want you to be aware of it. Of course, you know that you want to treat each other with respect in an online space. And then there is a section here on academic integrity. Turning in work that's not your own will result in a failing grade for the assignment. So please review our college policies on academic honesty. That's at this link, right? And this section talks about how important it is that you're doing your own work, right? And that you don't let anyone else log into your online course, that you always give credit if you are, finding ideas from another source, and that you only do that if you're asked to do that. Don't go to outside sources to get ideas about readings or topics unless you're assigned to do so. So read over that section. And then here I talk about the campus policy on disability access for students. If you feel you need an accommodation, then there's information here on how to get the accommodation letter to me, which I need in order to help you. So learning services or disability services are the places that you want to go to get me an accommodation letter. All your information is confidential, but I do need to get documentation in order to make an accommodation for you. And then again, I'm available to meet with you for conferences face-to-face or via Skype if that's easier for you. and I can do that during scheduled office hours or by appointment. I do welcome you to email me and ask questions as they come up. I want to remind you about the Writing Success Center services. Frequent tutoring can help you, and so don't hesitate to take advantage of your support services to help you succeed in a course. And that is me, right? Use me. That's why I'm here, to assist you. But also you can use the Writing Center and other support services to help assist you as well. And then the last thing here in your syllabus, as discussed, is that late paper pass. Should you need it, should you have an emergency situation, this is your save, if you will. So you would fill it out and you would email this page to me with your late essay. So that's your syllabus, just some highlights, but read it over yourself, because again, the more you understand about course requirements and expectations, the more you'll meet them or exceed them. I do encourage you to log into our course and just look around a little bit before we start on August 17th. Get your books and let me know if there's anything I can do to assist you before we begin.